How did I build a brand that has generated over $1.5 million without employees and zero marketing? Folks, what you are about to watch is a practice session of a presentation I am giving at a mastermind in Hawaii. Lucky enough at the Four Seasons. Was invited to speak about One Rental at a Time, the brand, how I started. So what I wanted to do here with you, my audience, is do a dry run, do a practice, see if the presentation makes sense. In this presentation, I am going to show you exactly how I made over $1.5 million. We're going to talk about the 7 or 8 different income streams. We are going to talk about what year each income stream came. We're going to talk about what I did right, what I did wrong, and let's get into it. Let's practice this presentation. So give me a second. Let me just share my screen so that we can get into the presentation. So, all right, let me just scroll up here. You should be seeing this now. Excuse me. So again, this is a presentation I am giving at a mastermind. So again, building and scaling a brand the hard way. Again, I think it's very clear if you've seen One Rental at a Time that I don't have a team. I don't have a marketing budget. It's just daily execution. So again, for the audience who doesn't know me, I am a husband and a father, husband to Olivia, father to Teresa. I spent 20 years plus in technology, a lot of that in leadership, first and second line. My story starts with One Rental at a Time, actually with a bad story. I successfully turned $7K into 197 grand in the stock market, only to lose 80% of it in the dot-com crash and feel like a complete failure. Turned to real estate in 2001 after reading that purple book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We escaped the housing crash because we sold our 8 houses and 1031 exchanged into 80 units. Again, shout out Bruce Norris for helping us avoid that crash. We borrowed millions and millions of dollars in private money and did BRRRR before it was a thing. Shout out Brandon Turner and Bigger Pockets for naming it. BRRRR is a great name for what we were doing. We had nearly 200 units at the peak. I think it was 187 or 189 at the peak. No partners, no JVs, just us. Olivia has been retired for over a decade now. For 10 years, I retired 7 years ago in 2018. And then we started this brand, this movement, One Rental at a Time, February of 2018. I call it the place where wealth builders grow, or where wealth builders go to network and grow. So again, we've done a lot of things in the last 7 or 8 years. We're going to get into the details, but this is who we are. This is what we talk about. One of the things that I'm proud of is my belief, my day one mission. That first video was always to create something that outlived me by 50 years. When you have that clarity of mission, you don't get distracted by shiny objects, by money, by dollars. You stay on mission, you stay on task, and I still have that same goal today. You can either chase money or chase impact. If you are going to create a brand, if you're going to create something in the social media world, you can chase money or impact. If you want to chase money, here's a hint. Preach fear, be a doomer, be a crash bro, be somebody that sends out scary, unhelpful information day after day after day. You will undoubtedly grow fast because most people want permission to do nothing. Doomers, crash bros get hundreds of thousands of views, are 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 times bigger than my channel, but all they're doing is hurting people each and every day. If you chase impact, you need to be comfortable with not growing as fast. You need to be comfortable being smaller. But here's the deal. The impact will be positive and it will be felt for years. And for what we're doing at One Rental at a Time, felt for generations. I would think one of the things that we are in is something called a trust recession. I think what we're going to see is a lot of people who were these gurus and whatnots, they're going to get got. And I think we're in a trust recession, right? All these fake gurus, the renting Lamborghinis, you know the type. There's just not a lot of trust out there. So you got to remember Warren Buffett's quote, it takes years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to lose it. So just keep that in mind. You got to choose your hard. Everything in life is hard. Being fat is hard. Being skinny is hard. Being rich is hard. Being poor is hard. Choose your hard. And then again, I'm lucky enough to call this my superpower, which I did not appreciate until after I retired. But my ability to focus and execute daily is a superpower. It is something I am so happy to have as a superpower because it allows me to be in the top 1% of anything that I try to do, whether that's, grow a brand or be a salesperson or whatever it is. It allows me because, again, if I'm getting 1% better every day, most people don't do that. So again, one of the things I have to acknowledge is I never imagined building a company or a brand. I am very comfortable being an employee. I'm not an entrepreneur by nature. I never imagined starting a business, let alone a personal brand. It wasn't my goal. In fact, before I retired in 2018, I ignored social media. No Facebook, no Twitter, no nothing. I simply had a LinkedIn page, which is what you had to have if you were in tech. For years, I actually fought. There's videos of me talking with folks like Sean Cannell at Think Media and Ryan Pineda and just arguing the fact that I am not an entrepreneur. For whatever reason, I just saw it as something I couldn't wear. Again, my superpower is focus and daily execution. You'll learn a little bit about that throughout this video or this discussion. I am not balanced. This whole work-life balance thing is not something I do. I get very unbalanced very quickly. I do not ask for help. One of the things that I am horrible at is asking others for help. It is definitely a weakness. I just don't do it. I've been disappointed a lot in my life when I ask for help, and it's just not something I do easily. It is a weakness. My superpower might be execution, but my kryptonite is asking for help. I'm very comfortable being alone. Again, I don't need to be in a big room or a big group or all of that. I'm very comfortable being by myself. And again, I don't use technology very well, if at all. These are just things to kind of level set who I am in the story that you're about to see. Really, when I talk about one rental at a time, there's generally 2 timelines. From 2001 to 2018, we built a real estate portfolio that retired 2 6-figure income earners. And then for 2018 to 2025, it's the building of the brand. And this discussion, this timeline, the charts, the income stream is all about the second timeline, 2018 to 2025. So here's the deal. Beginning, this is in 2018. Being financially free and depressed is a horrible feeling. That was me, March of 2018. Retired, financially free, but depressed. It was a horrible feeling. Getting another job was a real possibility. Again, think about that for a minute. You're retired, you're financially free, you're 45 years old, and you're going to get a job because you're depressed. What a loser that would have been. We did a family trip to Taiwan to hopefully clear my head, just get out of my own head and do something different. We took a trip to Taiwan. To that, I want to thank Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin. This is Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin from 2018. Long before they were their YouTube sensations that they are now. They were much smaller channels. Both of them were really talking about real estate. I think Graham was talking about house hacking and a couple of houses. Meet Kevin had a few. And I was like, oh, if these young men are talking about real estate and I have 20 years on them and 200 units, this is something I could do. That was me arrogantly thinking, hey, I can do what they do, sitting in the back of a van in Taiwan. And that's the beginning of one rental at a time. Again, I thought, hey, I can do what they're doing. I got 200 units in 20 years. I had no plan, no strategy, just do what I do, which is execute, execute, execute. I used a phone and a wired microphone for my first 1,000 videos. Again, 1,000 videos done with my phone and a wired microphone. I took massive action and learned and improved slowly. Again, as you will see as I go through the year-by-year timeline, there are plenty of mistakes, plenty of errors and plenty of opportunities for you to improve on what I did. Fun facts about the journey: we did write 2 Amazon bestsellers, One Rental at a Time, which was a bestseller for quite a while, and then 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires was a bestseller for a week or so. One Rental at a Time still does about 50 books a month and still get constant feedback. We've got over 21, almost 22 million YouTube views, 2.4 million watch hours, folks. That equates to 274 years. People have spent 274 years watching my content. Remember what we talked about earlier, the trust recession. Keep that number in mind, because one of the ways to beat the trust recession is consistent long-form content. And this is something that I've used, and you will see produce lots and lots of dollars. A side note, something else we were doing for the time was loading up podcast on Spotify. And we've got 10.3 million listens. The interesting thing about my podcast on Spotify is there is zero, and I repeat, zero original content. It is just YouTube files, stripped of video, and audio loaded. One of the things we did, because again, we were active flipping properties in 2018 to 21, is we raised millions and millions of dollars with private money. The YouTube channel, the books, all of that, the brand helped raise money from people that really didn't know me. They weren't like next door neighbors and family friends. They were people from my community. I speak to 12 plus millionaires each and every week. This was game changing and something you could repeat if you're looking to grow a brand. More on that later. We did go live I do go live 5 days a week, typically 7:30 a.m. when I'm not traveling, because in order to go live at 7:30 a.m. in California while I'm here in Hawaii, you'd have to get up at 4:30, and I am not getting up at 4:30 to do this. And again, I haven't missed a day of posting in 6 years. Remember what I told you folks about being broken, being unbalanced? We have posted a video on One Rental at a Time every day for 6+ years. Here are some ugly truths. I didn't get monetized on YouTube for 1,000 videos. I constantly hear from folks out there who have, done 10, 15, 20 videos complaining about not being monetized. I will say it again. I did 1,000 videos before getting monetized. In the first 11 months of hard work, I made $490. $490. In order to make $490, I spent 20 grand. Yes, folks, that is not a very good ROI. Again, one of the things that I did is I never wanted to edit videos. So again, I don't edit videos. It's not about being perfect. It's about the conversation, and it's about loading and getting on to the next one. I have learned the importance of thumbnail, title, and hook. They call it the first 5 seconds. Unfortunately, I learned that very slowly. I thought if I continued the consistency and continued the volume, that the masses would just come. They did not. You have to leverage what is out there: thumbnail, title, and the hook, something that I did not do. Again, one of the things that I do is I default to action instead of collecting feedback. Again, I don't ask for help. I don't ask for advice. I'm just comfortable doing. I like doing the work. I'm not good at asking for help. I should have looked for mentorship and education much, much sooner. I would have grown faster, probably been a lot more profitable, and done double or triple the amount. But again, we'll get into the amounts in a minute. Being busy does not equal progress, or is it smart? Again, just doing the work does not mean you're making progress or getting better. And the last thing I do want you to know is if you are going to make a name for yourself, you are going to be consistent, you will get your haters. I have some lots and lots of haters, and actually the bigger you get, the more haters will be there. So here's the income streams. We'll just blow this out real quick. Again, YouTube ads, Spotify, which one's new in 2025, books, audiobooks, teachable courses, in-person event, school community, sponsorships, and affiliate marketing. Again, we're going to go year by year in a minute. We're going to look at a graph together to look at the dollar amounts. And we'll talk about what worked and didn't. One thing I will tell you here is don't try to do everything at once. That is a recipe for disaster. As you will see in the Excel spreadsheet, there is a natural order to all of these. Here's the graph of the income growing. It's now over $1.5 million. You can see it starts very, very slowly and then grows as income streams stack, as more and more people get to know you. This is all done by accident. I had no idea what I was creating back in 2018, sitting at my kitchen table. Again, my whole goal was to create something that outlived me by 50 years. And oh, by the way, it has been extremely profitable. Here's how it looks in an Excel spreadsheet, again, by the year. Again, we start this in 2018, don't really make any money. By 2019, we've sold some books. That's all we had done, $489. By the time we get to the end of 2019, we do have some YouTube income. I made a whopping $1,500, $6,000 in book sales, and we did roll out a course in March of 2019 that produced 15 grand. Interesting thing about the course is I rolled it out at $99. Yes, folks, a whopping $99. So, hey, after the end of year 2, we are up to a whopping 22. We made almost 23 grand in year 2. Fast forward a year, again, we have YouTube income ramping nicely, book sales up big time, courses. And then we add Audible, which again, you'll see later, we did it badly, but we still made 5 grand. And then referrals, we started getting paid referrals for different leads. Fast forward to 21, again, YouTube income still ramping, book sales ramping, courses really explode higher, Audible up slightly, and referrals. Following year, kind of the same income streams for 3 years. Again, 2020, 2021, 2022, no new income streams, just more and more. And 2022 was the highest year for YouTube. It's been down since. Look at that, folks. The YouTube income is down 50%, 50, down 50% from 22 to 24. Again, marketing, clicks, all of that down, down, down. Book sales are also down, although not as drastically. Course sales down quite drastically. Not many people buying courses these days. Again, you'll see I don't have any marketing, so maybe that's me. Audible revenue was still climbing, and referrals were climbing. Fast forward to 2023, all the same income streams, except we do our first live event. A live event. Again, these numbers are gross, not net. Again, gross, not net. I will say with no marketing and no team, profit margins are very, very healthy, but live events are very, very expensive. So don't think that 101,000 was basically break even for that event. So again, but that's still, we did a in-person event in Vegas, 300 and some odd people. Fast forward to the end of 2024. Again, it's interesting to see that YouTube revenue down, book sales down, courses down, Audible down, referrals down. Live events was slightly bigger. And then we did add school, which is something, again, I think what you're seeing is people out there don't want paint by numbers. They want community. So that was something I leaped into in 2024. And then again, as mentioned earlier, Spotify has started paying in 2025 out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, Spotify started paying. So that was nice, almost $700 or $800 a month. So what did I get right? What did I get wrong? In 2018, what we got right, writing a book out of the gate proved to be a genius move. Again, I remember being depressed, thinking about getting a job, and I remember the moment saying, you know what, I'm gonna write a book. And again, I didn't really say write a book. I was like, I'm gonna write our story. What did we do? Which then became a book. We did start creating content, again, action-oriented, no editing, still don't edit videos. Again, at the time, this is 2018, we're raising millions and millions of dollars thanks to the YouTube channel. We created a program called 6 and 20, where we paid 6% interest only and gave people 20% of the profit. It was very, very easy to raise money. We documented the flips. You can go back to our first couple of thousand videos and see walkthroughs. And then we started the daily financial news, which is a live, yes, live session most days. We go live 7:30 a.m. Pacific. And then again, the day one goal was creating something that outlived me by 50 years. That has never changed and hopefully never will. What did we get wrong? We should have found mentors and learned the ropes. Again, I leaned in. I didn't evaluate others. I just said, hey, Graham and Kevin have these, go. And that was the extent of my planning. Lots of activity does not equal a success. I would tell you that doing 1,000 videos and not being monetized is horrible, frankly, horrible. Most people would give up long before that. But again, I am broken and lucky to be broken in this case. We were recording 7 days a week for a long time and now do 5 days a week. We should have gone live more often versus record and publish. Again, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know about the live option. Again, this is my ignorance, my lack of asking for help, asking for advice was a complete and utter failure on my part. Again, I tried to number my earlier videos, which is a horrible mistake. Like, video number 1, video number 2, video number 3. That is horrible for lots and lots of reasons, because one of the things you learn in this business is real estate. And what I mean by real estate is the title, right? You got to think about the title. And if you're giving up a decent amount of the real estate to a non-valuable thing like number a video, you are making a horrible, horrible mistake. All right, what happened the next year, 2019? Some of the things that we did right is we paid a book editor. Again, while I don't edit videos, I did not want to release my PDF without having a book editor edit it. Spent, I think, $8 or $9 grand on that to get a New York editor to read and edit it. We published it on Amazon as a self-published author. I did offer it up to Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets declined. They had this guy, Brandon Turner, that was their buy and hold guy at the time. So I self-published it, which turned out to be good for me. We did get monetized in 2019 after a year of creating videos. I started to find weekly contributors, again, the millionaires that I speak to each week. Started to build a decent following and built and released a $99 course because everybody was asking, how'd you do it? So we created a paint by numbers, how we did it. And still to this day, I respond to each and every comment on my channel. What did we get wrong? Still doing everything myself on YouTube. Just stupid, just dumb. I should have gotten help, should have outsourced some of these. Making 1,000 videos to get monetized is crazy. Don't do that. Ask for help. Should have paid for mentorship to shorten learning processes. Again, I don't mind executing, but again, as I've said a couple of times, I don't ask for help very often. I didn't have a plan or strategy to sell anything. I created a course, I wrote a bestseller, but I didn't have a marketing plan to maximize the sales of either. Fast forward year 3, started to outsource stuff. Something I was not good at, you can go back and look at the old videos, was thumbnails. I was horrible at it because, again, I'm not an artist. So I started paying somebody to do that. We did publish one rental at a time via Audible. More on that in a minute. We did start to get some affiliate marketing, right? Basically, hey, let me come on your channel, and if somebody comes, you'll get, a little bit of, you get $1 or whatever it was. We raised the course price from $99 to $199. Again, we added material, raised the price, and we started to see bots and hate, which meant we were getting bigger and bigger. Again, what did we get wrong? I should have paid a real person to read Audible. If you go back and listen to the Audible of One Rental at a Time a couple of years ago, it was a computer robot voice. Why did I do that? Simple. It was the cheapest option. I should have paid a real person. If you go listen to One Rental at a Time today, I'm happy to report a friend of mine, Dion, was gracious enough to read that book. And I also read 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires. So again, you get a friendly voice reading you that book. I was paying a friend of mine to take the YouTube files and upload them to Spotify, $1,000. It turns out that task is not a $1,000 task. I was being taken advantage of, and I didn't even know it. Turned it over to another team after years and years of wasting $1,000 a month because he was my friend, and I was just being taken advantage of. I didn't realize at this time, 3 years into the business, that we were becoming a media company. And I should be thinking about not only YouTube, but X and IG and other platforms. And I was still fighting the label of entrepreneur. Year 4 and 5, we'll just do together. We did write our second book, which filled a key need in the market. 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires. Again, I think it's the most important book for real estate investors because it highlights what is possible. We did start a private Facebook group for students. More on that in a minute. I tried to have a place for my students to go. And then I started working with Sean Cannell at Think Media. Again, you have to remember I'm year 4 and year 5 in this business. And it's the first time I really reached out for help. Sorry if you hear my dogs barking in the background, but that's what happens when it's a practice run. Raised the course price one more time from $199 to $299. Again, we added more material, raised the price. And finally, we go from 7 days of recording to 5 days. Thank you, Olivia, for that reminder. Something I got wrong is I didn't tease the second book. I just kind of launched it. Didn't tell anybody it was coming. Just worked on it and said, boom, here you go, all over. I should have paid for one-on-one mentoring much, much sooner. Again, you already have success. You have proof of concept. You can pay for mentoring. I should have created some automation around scheduling and calendar management. I do so many things by myself. It is not good. And I should have been posting to Spotify the whole time. We didn't start posting to Spotify until 2022. Again, a friend of mine charged me $1,000 to do that, which was way overpriced. But again, not technologist, didn't know how it worked. Still don't know how it works, but it is not a difficult thing to do. And still 4-5 years into the business, I am not an entrepreneur. Fast forward to year 6, 2023, the finish of last year, we did a first live event with 300 people. Started getting invited on bigger and bigger channels. Started to have bigger and bigger guests. Even had Grant Cardone, Meet Kevin, Graham Stephan on. Lots of fun. Raised the course one more time to $399. Think I'm going to keep it there. Created 2 smaller YouTube channels to test an idea I took out of a book written by Sean Cannell at Think Media. It's still losing money, but again, I'm not adding any net new content, so we can talk about that. When to have other channels, when not. What do I get wrong? I never ask for help. I ran the Vegas event largely by myself. Again, that's a huge weakness of mine. I don't ask for help. I should have gotten feedback on creating 2 small channels instead of just doing based on some things I've read. I should ask for feedback and ideas and all of that. Again, I don't ask for help very easily. I paid big money for somebody to create a shorts. I went big on shorts and paid somebody who promised 1 million views. But after a little while, found out the numbers were doctored and, again, wasted money there for something I think was almost theft. But, again, it is what it is. I should have dumped Facebook sooner. Facebook is a great platform, but it doesn't allow the creator, me, to communicate with everyone. And that is why I turned to school. Actually, 2024 is the last year that finished. I forgot we're in 2025. What I got right, finally paid for mentoring. Stayed true to my goal, chase impact, not money. A lot of the mentoring I got told me, Michael, you need to create a $10,000 course, a $5,000 course, yada, yada, yada. Not who I am, not what I wanted to do. We did run our second live event in Vegas, which was even better than the first. I did complete a Vegas marathon. Why is that on here? Because something about 2023 that I didn't say is I considered it a complete failure. I didn't do anything hard. I was just comfortable. So what we did is we added a Vegas marathon, which I completed, and now can say I've run a marathon. And we started a newsletter. Shout out Lance Lambert from Resi Club for co-sponsoring the Zubra letter. You can go to zubraletter.com and see a weekly newsletter for free. What we got wrong? Again, mentoring said I should do something, and I'm not comfortable with. Again, sometimes you pay for mentoring, and they give you advice that just does not work. Again, the mentoring I got, paid big money for, said, Michael, you need to create a funnel. You need to create layered packages, and it's not who I am, not what I'm doing. Course sales have collapsed. No marketing. Again, they were selling like hotcakes. We were helping people learn the process, paint by numbers. That's not working. People don't want paint by numbers today. They want community. I should go to more industry events, content, media, etc. Again, I don't do that very often, and I should have started school earlier. School is going to likely become something I am known for. School for me is where new wealth builders grow to learn and network. And then finally, year 8, we got my first daily sponsor, first daily sponsor for the Daily Financial News. You only work with companies that I personally use. That's a big thing for me. I'm not going to say yes to somebody just because they throw money. Why? Because I don't need money. I'm not worried about money. I am worried about my reputation. Spotify started paying me out of nowhere, which was a complete shock. I'm like, why is Spotify sending me $700? It turns out that they are now paying their podcast creators, which again, I've done 10 million views there, or listens, so they've paid me. Again, my hard goal for this year is to go from 34.8% body fat to sub 10 as a 53-year-old male. Again, I want to do something hard every year. Sought out new groups to share the story with, the growth and the struggle. And again, after 8 years, still haven't lost my day one goal of creating impact. What I got wrong? I should have someone to remove daily burdens as I still interact and do everything myself. I should pay for school mentorship. I should pay somebody who's good at school to mentor me. Again, not done that yet. I should go to some content creation events like VidCon and things like that. I still lean into activity over asking for help. It's just who I am. And I'm comfortable, and growth doesn't come from comfort. Always remember that. So some core beliefs: you either chase clicks, ad revenue, or you chase impact. Don't chase going viral. Focus on a single platform. Again, YouTube, build trust. Know your avatar, your prospect. Be consistent. Content pays in arrears, meaning that as you build trust, you'll build awareness, and then money will show up in arrears. Don't be afraid to give away the good stuff. Again, I've shared everything about one rental at a time, except, it's one of 15,000 videos. So you have to go find them, or you can get the course. You can pick one as a content creator. You could be entertaining, encouraging, or educational. Know which one you are and be that. And then income streams can stack, change, and evolve. And again, we went year by year earlier, and you can see if you're constantly evaluating and pivoting where you can go from there. Words of advice: get very clear on your day one goal. Figure out your most likely target avatar. Search for others in that space and see what they are doing. Document what they're doing well and what they're not. Don't try to build 7 streams of income on day one. That is a recipe for disaster. Go live over polished, perfect videos is very freeing and a little scary. Starting with long-form YouTube content is very rewarding, as it can be leveraged elsewhere, i.e. shorts, i.e. Instagram, i.e. Spotify. It's constantly paying dividends. And again, remember, long form equals trust building. And as I said earlier, we are in a trust recession. Things I would do different. Number 1, I would build a brand while working my day job. The thing that I got wrong is I built all of this after I retired. I should have been building one rental at a time when I had my job. Do not start after you quit if you can avoid it. Start right now building your brand on whatever it is you would like to do. Seek mentorship much, much earlier. Seek someone who can show you the ropes, give you some feedback, talk about the hook, talk about the thumbnail, all those things. Ask for help I'll ask for help a lot more often. Again, my kryptonite, something I do terribly, is ask for help. Have a plan. If you're going to create a new book, a course, or a school community, have a marketing plan. Stop fighting becoming an entrepreneur. I have fought this for years and years and years, and now am comfortable finally saying I am an entrepreneur. Becoming more disciplined on spending and investing in the business. Again, somebody who has, millions of dollars in income now, no marketing, no team. I'm very ad hoc. I think I should be more disciplined. Create goals and targets each year for each income stream is a big thing. And then finally, folks, just to close this out, because this is an event that goes into real estate tomorrow, I thought I would highlight for you how we built a 200-unit portfolio with nearly none of our own money. First thing we did, obviously, is we lived below our means. That allowed us to stack cash, aka the income snowball. Then we did some cash out refis. We did some 1031 exchanges. We flipped properties for chunk money. And then lastly, we borrowed private money to burr properties during the crash. At the end of the day, folks, thank you. I hope you appreciate that. Let's go back and, oh, stop sharing. So let's go back. All right. Don't know how long that was. Oh, 34 minutes. Pretty good. All right. Again, that was a dry run. I have some things I'm going to go clean up. Hopefully you appreciated that again. At the end of the day, I do want to thank Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, for inspiring me way back when I was in Taiwan. I want to thank Sean Cannell, who's been a game changer at Think Media, for helping me improve. And thank all the millionaires who come back, all of you who watch our videos and content. I greatly appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. Bye.